Hello and good evening, CSI135 Section 400 students for the Fall 2013 semester at Anne Arundel Community College. This will be your solution set for Lab number 6, which asked you to create 5 shell scripts. So the first shell script says, create a shell script that prompts the user for their age and then takes that information and tells the user how many more years it will be until they turn 100 years old. So over here on the left, I have my student login. And I've created a script called 100age.bash. So let's see what that looks like. So again, the script begins with the magic number followed by the absolute path name of the shell that we want to execute this script. Now I should also add in, some other information for the script, and it's 100age.bash. I can put in the date that the script was created. We'll put in 25 October 2013. I can put in the author of the script. All right. So, what I'm first going to do is I'm going to clear my screen. Then I'm going to echo out, and remember the -in will hold the cursor on the line when it requests the input from the user. So it's going to ask, how old are you? And then I'm going to read in what the user enters. So I read in age. And again, age is a variable. I could name this anything I'd like, but this is what we're going to refer to later in our equation. And then I simply take age, and I'm going to echo out wow in, and I put in here 100 minus age, right? And so the age is the variable that we've created up here, right? You'll be 100 years old. So it basically takes the age, or 100 takes the age and subtracts whatever that age value is to tell you how many years until you'll be 100. So let's see if this works. So if I do /100age.bash, how old am I? I'm 43. And it says, wow, in 57 years you'll be 100. So let's run it again and see what we get. How old are you? If I was 87, we should get 13. And so it works. If I run it again, what if I put 99? In 1 year, I'll be 100. Let's run it again. Say I'm 15. So we should see 85. Okay, so let me count that file out again. 100age.bash. And so that's what that file looks like. Again, it echoes out the question, how old are you? It reads the input, and remember the -in option to echo is going to hold the cursor here, awaiting input from the user. And then I simply echo out wow in, and we take 100 and we subtract from that the age they entered in. You'll be 100. So one of the students had asked, what happens if I enter in how old am I if I'm 125? And in negative 25 years you'd be 100 years old. All right, so that was the first shell script. The second shell script says create a script that prompts the user for the year they want to live to, and then have the script prompt them for their current age. With this information, have the script print a message to the screen telling them how old they would be if they died in the year which they entered in the first step. Okay. So the name of this script was, and I'm trying to remember the name of the script here. Let's see. Oh, year to die. All right. So vi year to die.bash. So here's what that script would look like. Magic number, which is the pound bang, and then the absolute path name to the shell that you want to run the script. So the script is going to tell you what age you wish to live to. And actually, a better description would be, this script will tell you how old you will be in a certain year, if that is the year, you wish to die. Okay, so again, I'm going to clear my screen. I'm going to use the echo command. It's going to prompt the user to enter the year that they wish to live until. And then it's going to read in that value that the user enters into the variable year. Then I'm going to prompt the user to enter their current age. And live to is the variable here at the bottom. that I'm going to create, and it's simply going to be the value of the year minus 2013, and then I'm going to add the age. And so that would give me an accurate prediction of how old the individual would be in the year that they would wish to die. So let's try that. So year to die.bash, oops, sorry. Let me do chmod u plus x, year to die.bash. So if I do /year to die.bash, so it's 2013 right now. So let's say I wish to live until 2020. My current age is 43. And so then you wish to live to the age of 50 because 2020 is 7 years from 2013. So let's try it again. Clear my screen. What if I wanted to live until 2050? My current age 43. You wish to you wish to live to the age of 80. And is that correct? So 2013 to 2050, and the difference would be 37 years, and 37 plus 43 is 80. And so again, cat year to die.bash, that's what the script looks like, and that would meet the requirements. Okay, on to number 3. It says create a shell script that prompts the user only for their login ID, and then have that script print out only the date and time that this user has logged on to the class system. Okay, so I'll clear my screen. Whoops. I think this one is called loggedon.bash. It is. So let's take a look. So again, magic number, and you would want to add in some additional information, the title, possibly the date the script was created, and maybe the author. All right, and we'll go from there. So it's going to echo with a dash in, what is your login ID? And then it's going to read in the value, or the value that was entered in by the user, into the variable login ID, right? And so then the value of login ID is going to be whatever the user entered in. So again, you can make this anything you want. I could call this, let's take that out, I could call it user ID, right? And so then I'd have to change my variable down here to user ID. Oops, let me change that up. Okay. All right. Okay. So, and this is going to grep for the user ID, but remember that this says prints out only the date and time that this user has logged onto the system. So let's see what the last command looks like. So here are the date and times, right? And so we're only looking for the dates and times. So if I did 1, 2, 3, it would be the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. 4 through 9. So if I were to type in last and grep on TPB, it would look like this. If I typed in last and I piped it to grep for TPB and then ran it to awk, and I'm going to put this in here. We're going to go print $4, $5. Oops, actually we're not going to want the $5, $6, $7, $8, $9. And let's see what this looks like. And there you go. Now that runs everything together. Oops. If I didn't want to have everything run together, let me drop some commas in here, and we'll show you what the comma does. And so that's what that would look like. And so that looks a little better than having it run together. Wanted to make sure you saw it both ways. So only the date and times would be just like this, right? And here are your date and times. So let's go back into logged in, or loggedon.bash. We're going to get rid of this guy here. And we're going to drop in our command, but it's critical that we remember. So I'm not grepping for TPB. We want this script to be universal. So I'm going to change the word here. I'm going to actually change this, and this is going to be $user ID. Because again, that's what the user's prompting, or that's what the author is prompting the user for. So let's save that script. I'll do a quick chmod u plus x on loggedon.bash. And now when I run loggedon.bash, it says, what is my login ID? So let's try TPB. And there we go. And it shows I'm still logged on in some cases. What about CSI135-400? No, we didn't get anything. And if you remember, we talked a little bit about the last command a few weeks ago. You'll notice that when I use the last command with no options, one of the interesting things you'll see here is that there doesn't seem to appear to be any users that have 2 numeric digits in the login ID, but we know that not to be the case because individuals in our class, B10, B11, and B12, for example, have 2 numeric digits. So what if I did last-IW? How does that look different? And you remember this was from one of the quizzes, and I believe and even on the midterm. But you can see here it's the -IW that's going to give me this additional digit here, right? So let's see if that cleans up our script for loggedon.bash. So I'll come out here and do last-IW. All right, and let's see what that looks like now. So we'll do /loggedon.bash, TPB, and sure enough, it still works. Now, let's try CSI135-400. Does that work? It certainly does, right? What about CSI135-400? And there you go. So this would meet the requirements for shell script number 3, which is create a shell script that prompts the user for their login ID, and then have the script print out only the date and time that the user is logged onto the system. All right, and let me cat that out one more time. And that's what that script would look like. Okay, on to number 4, and this was by far the toughest of the scripts that you had to create. But again, a simple Google search would have yielded a very, very good clue. So, create a shell script that will prompt the user for the temperature in Celsius and then print out the temperature in Fahrenheit. So basically convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, and we're using the scale of 1 degree Celsius and it's actually 33.8 degrees Fahrenheit. So we rounded to 34, but the equation, and let me cat, I believe it's temp.bash. The equation is you take the temperature in Celsius and you multiply it by 9/5, and then you add 32, right? And so here's what that would look like. Okay, so it says echo-in, and again, enter the temperature in Celsius, and then it's going to read in that value, temperature. And then we say let, and this was the other way to do it from chapter number 9, you put it in double quotes, and we're going to create this variable here, Fahrenheit, and Fahrenheit is equivalent to, or is assigned the value of the Celsius temperature times 9/5 plus 32. And then I echo out, so the temperature of whatever the value entered in for temperature was at the beginning of the script in Celsius is equal to, and again we have $Fahrenheit, which is created right there, in Fahrenheit. Well done. So let's see what this looks like. I'm going to do a chmod u+x on this guy too. u+x on temp.bash. So now if I do temp.bash, temperature in Celsius will say 50 degrees. And sure enough, that is correct. It's equal to 122 in Fahrenheit. So let's run it again. What if I said 1? And it's equal to 33 degrees. That's correct. All right. And what if I said it was 150 degrees Celsius is 302 in Fahrenheit. All right, so that was number 4. And as you can see, this was the key here, was making sure that you had this equation to create the value in the variable FAR, which stood for Fahrenheit. All right, that was number 4. Number 5, create a shell script that will prompt the user for their login ID and then print out the user's default login shell. All right, so we'll create this one from scratch. I'll just call it default shell.bash, right? And so we'll go bin bash, and you would put in your comments here. So echo-in, please enter in your system login ID. And remember, the -in holds it up here on that line, so I'll put in read login ID. And the reason we need this is because what we're going to do now is we're going to cat the etc password file. We're going to grep on that user, right? So that's going to be that user's login ID, and we're going to run that to awk. And we want to make sure we use the -F, right, to provide the field separator. And what is it separating? the different fields for the Etsy password file, and we know that the 7th field is the last field, and that is the default login shell. Okay. All right. So now, if I were to do the chmod u plus x to provide execute permission for the user on default shell.bash and then run default shell.bash, if I type in tpb, you can see that my login shell is bin bash. What about CSI135-400? Still bin bash. And let's cat Etsy password, and let me grep on tcsh. We'll get some users here. All right, so if I were to type in /default shell.bash, and if I typed in TLC, there you go. You can see that TLC here, the Technology Learning Center, they are using the TC shell. So just wanted to make sure to show that it does work for shells other than the bash shell. It's going to grep out whatever that last field is. All right, so that's lab number 6, and these were your shell scripts. So again, default login shell.bash, and that's what that looks like. All right, I will see all of you Wednesday evening, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.